Hi guys, it's Min again, 25 years old. 6 a.m. I woke up a little earlier than usual today. Maybe because today felt different from all the days before. After coming back to the countryside without a stable job, I finally have somewhere to go, something to do, and a reason to step out of this little room. It's only a part-time job, but at this point in my life, I think even a small beginning is something worth appreciating. I used to think that leaving the city would make my life much simpler, but simple doesn't always mean easy. Without a stable income, I started thinking more carefully about things I used to take for granted. Food, gas, and all those little expenses that seemed insignificant before. Suddenly, every dollar started to matter. I stood in front of my little wardrobe for a moment, trying to choose what to wear. It had been a while since I had dressed up for work, so even this simple moment felt a little different. I picked something comfortable and got ready for my first day. A few days earlier, I was sitting at my computer, scrolling through job listings and trying to find something close to home. But finding a job here wasn't as easy as I thought. There weren't many part-time opportunities nearby, and I didn't want to take something that would keep me away from home all day. I still wanted time for my garden, my little room, and the life I'm slowly trying to rebuild. I spent quite a while searching and eventually found a few places that seemed like they might work. I gathered the courage to call them, but the first call ended with a rejection. I tried another place, and the answer wasn't any different. I put my phone down and felt a little disappointed, not because those jobs were especially important, but because I started wondering if I could really find something suitable for me in a small rural area like this. But I didn't want to stop just because I had been rejected twice. I thought, if I've really decided to start over, then I also need to learn how to accept things when they don't work out. So I kept searching. I kept making calls, and eventually I got lucky. I found a job only about 5 kilometers from home. It was paid by the hour, and I would only need to work one shift a day. The job itself isn't anything special. Most of the work involves entering data and replying to messages. But what I really like is the schedule. It fits my life right now. I get my weekends off and I still have most of the day to spend at home. And today is finally my first day. I kept things simple this morning. Just an outfit that felt right, a small bag, a few notebooks, and a pen. I had no idea how my first day would go, and I wasn't even sure whether this job would really suit me. But I don't think I need to know everything yet. Sometimes you just have to walk out the door first, and let the road give you the answers along the way. The sun is pretty strong today, so I'm going to put on a jacket to protect myself from the sun. The weather is actually beautiful, and it feels like a good morning to start my first day at work. The workplace is only about 5 kilometers from my home, but I really enjoy the road there. I live in a small village, so there are still plenty of trees and open fields along the way. The gentle smell of young rice drifts through the air, carried by the cool morning breeze, while birds sing somewhere along the fields. After spending several years surrounded by tall buildings, traffic, and the noise of the city, I realized how much I had missed this kind of peace. There's something about the countryside that feels simple, quiet, and healing. Maybe this is what I need right now, a slower life and a little more time to breathe. I stopped by the local market to grab some breakfast and bought a Vietnamese banh mi for about $04. It's one of the most popular traditional foods here in Vietnam, and it's cheap, filling, and honestly, one of the things I really enjoy eating. A few years ago, I probably wouldn't have thought twice about spending on breakfast. But life is different now. Without a stable income, I've started looking at money in a completely different way. Even the smallest expense makes me stop and think for a moment. After my breakfast, I stopped by a small local grocery store to get some water for the road. I bought a bottle of water for just $02. It's a small expense, but on a morning like this, staying hydrated is definitely worth it, especially with the sun getting stronger. After leaving the market, I continued along the road and passed a large lake before reaching my workplace. Everything around me was quiet. I even met a little cat at the company. It was so cute, with those bright, curious eyes staring right at me. The place where I work is a small family-run business. There are no big offices or modern workspaces like the places I used to work in the city. Everything here is simple and a little old-fashioned, but somehow I feel comfortable here. Some of the employees are young people who live nearby and come here to earn some extra money. Others are mothers who use their free time to work and bring in a little more income. Everyone has their own story, but in the end, we're all just trying to move forward in our own way. I arrived quite early because it was my first day. While everyone else was still arriving, I had a little time to get familiar with the place. I sat down, had my breakfast, and looked around the room. Honestly, I was still a little nervous. I didn't know if I would be good at the job or if everything would go smoothly. But at least I knew I had already done the hardest part. When it was time to work, I got started, entering data, checking information, and replying to messages. These were things I was already familiar with, so I quickly found my rhythm. It's not an exciting or glamorous job, but I'm not really looking for those things anymore. Right now, I just need something that can give me a little extra income while still allowing me to keep the life I'm building for myself. After a while, I started to feel more comfortable with the work. The first few minutes were a little unfamiliar, but once I got into the rhythm, everything became much easier. Sometimes, simple work can actually feel quite peaceful when you're not under too much pressure. I looked at the clock and realized that quite a bit of time had already passed. It was strange because I had only just started, but the morning was already moving so quickly. I guess that's what happens when you finally have something to focus on. While working, I kept thinking about my life back home. Just a few days ago, I was sitting in my little room, wondering where my next income would come from. And now I was sitting here, doing a simple job and earning money with my own time. It may not sound like much, but to me, it means something. I know this job won't solve everything. I still have a lot of things to figure out, and I still need to find other ways to improve my income. But maybe I don't need to solve everything at once. For now, this is enough. I just want to keep moving forward, little by little. 1 hour of work, one small income, one more thing checked off my list. Maybe these small steps won't look like much from the outside, but I believe they can slowly become something bigger. Before I knew it, the morning was already coming to an end. My first day wasn't anything dramatic or extraordinary. But sitting here, knowing that I had finally found a way to earn a little money after coming back home, I felt quietly proud of myself. It was a small beginning, but at least it was a beginning. What I like most is that when my shift is over, I can still come back to my little room and have time for my own life. I can take care of the garden, clean the house, learn something new, and keep looking for other opportunities. This job probably won't change my life overnight, but it gives me a little extra income. And more importantly, it gives me the feeling that I'm finally moving forward again. By the time I got home, I was starting to feel pretty hungry. I didn't want to spend any more money today, so I decided to make something simple with whatever I still had in the fridge. Luckily, there were a few eggs left. Nothing fancy, but honestly, when you're trying to save money, you learn to appreciate whatever you already have. I think I'll just use them for today's meal and leave the grocery shopping until tomorrow. For now, a simple homemade meal is more than enough. Tomorrow, I'll go to the market and bring home some more nutritious food. I really miss having a proper meal, especially fried fish and boiled pork wrapped in fresh vegetables. Simple, but it's one of my favorite meals, and I think I'll really enjoy it after a busy day like this. There's something about sitting quietly in my little room and listening to the rain outside that makes everything feel slower. For a moment, I don't have to think about work, money, or what comes next. I can just sit there, listen, and enjoy the quiet. As soon as the rain stopped, I went out to take care of the little vegetable garden. The soil was still soft and damp from the rain, so I added a little fertilizer to give the plants some extra nutrients. I'm still learning how to grow vegetables, so I'm not sure how everything will turn out. But seeing these little plants slowly grow makes me feel like I'm building something of my own, one day at a time. Thank you so much for spending this day with me. Starting over isn't always easy, but having you here and sharing this journey with me makes it feel a little less lonely. I'm still figuring things out, one small step at a time, and I'm really grateful for all your support.